I think we can all agree when I say that this year's mob vote was a complete and utter disaster, ranging from the Dream controversy, did he rig it or did he not, all the way to the mobs, were they just reskins? I mean, a lot of people were complaining that they were just reskin textures of already current mobs, and then overall the whole community was extremely divided over this one simple mob vote. A lot of toxicity going throughout the community over this simple mob vote. But let's take a look back at 2017. Now, I was not on Twitter back in 2017. I did not compete in this vote in 2017. But from what I do know, the mobs were much more interesting. The mobs were so much better. They were not just reskin textures of already current mobs. The Monster of the Ocean Depths was super great. It was a super great idea. It could have been such an awesome underwater mob that players could fear. We had the Phantom, and even though it was the least coolest out of all four mobs, it still had a unique feature. It would force players to sleep. Now, I know a lot of players don't like that, but I still think it was a rather interesting feature. Then we had Mob C, the Great Hunger, which would possibly disenchant your items if you just threw something into it, possibly. Obviously, that was scrapped and used on the Grindstone. And then Mob D, the Hovering Inferno, which would have been some sort of blaze boss. So see, all those mobs, super interesting. But this year we had a reskin squid, just a brand new illager, and then a reskin cow. Not the greatest choices, but I'm not going to go as far to say that the mob vote in general has been a failure. Now, yes, so far the mob votes have not been as great as they could be. Looking back at 2017, the mob vote was actually really good. Again, I was not on Twitter, I did not compete in the mob vote, just basing it off the mobs seemed pretty unique. However, this year I did compete and I watched everything go down. I even voted myself. And it was a lot of toxicity going around. I honestly hated the time that the mob vote was going on. There was just a massive mess. I hated it all. But we ought to give Mojang at least one more chance with the mob votes. I don't see this type of toxicity with the biome votes, but I think it's because a lot of people don't care as much for the biome votes as they do for the mob votes. And you can say Dream had a massive impact on the mob vote, and I believe he did. He did get Mr. Beast and his followers to vote, which was a big impact on the mob vote, which caused a lot of people to get involved with the mob vote. But it's fair to give Mojang at least another shot, because it's not Mojang's fault necessarily that the mob votes have failed. I'd say it's more on the community. You all voted in the Phantom in 2017, and personally, I like the Phantom. I think it's an interesting mob. But you all voted it in, and now it's one of the most hated mobs in Minecraft. You can attribute that to the fact that people voted for one mob, their mob didn't win, and now they're going to hate the winner for the rest of their lives. And that is the same exact way with this year. The Glow Squid won. A lot of people believe Dream rigged it. Whether you believe Dream rigged it or not, that's completely up to you. But even though the Glow Squid has a massive following and a lot of people love the Glow Squid, it also has a lot of haters. Not many people like the Glow Squid simply because of the whole Dream controversy. People who voted one mob, that mob didn't win, they're probably alright with it, but then they attribute to maybe Dream rigged it, right? Let's say someone voted the Moo Bloom, and the Moo Bloom did not win, and they attribute the Moo Bloom's loss to Dream possibly rigging the vote. That person will hate Dream and the Glow Squid simply because Dream supports the Glow Squid and supposedly rigged the vote to get the Glow Squid to win. They're going to hate the Glow Squid for probably a very long time, at least until they get over that hate for it, making the Glow Squid one of the most hated mobs in Minecraft. And that already happens with the Phantom. But we should give Mojang at least one more chance. After all, the mob vote has not been an entire disaster, and I like where Mojang's coming along with the whole mob vote and biome vote idea. They want to get the community involved and vote on what they want to be added into the game, and I think that's a fantastic idea, and I like that Mojang tries to implement that. However, I don't know if it's gone to the way that they exactly planned out. The community has definitely been divided a lot over this year's mob vote. Again, I'm talking a lot about this year's mob vote simply because, again, I was not present during the 2017 mob vote, but from what I've learned this year and this year's mob vote was a complete and utter mess. The first mob vote, I would say, somewhat a success. Despite the winner being a very hated mob, somewhat a success. This year, complete miss. It was a disaster, I hated it all around. I think Mojang should do another mob vote this year. Maybe it'll be Mojang's last mob vote. Maybe it'll be just the third of many to come. I do like the idea of the mob vote. I like being able to vote on mobs and biomes that can be added into the game. I think it's a great idea that Mojang does this, and I think they definitely should continue with this at the moment. If the mob votes continue to be somewhat a failure as what it was this year, I think it should probably end. But at the moment, I think it can be a success. Again, I love seeing the community involved with things that are going to be implemented into the game. People getting to vote on what new mob is going to be added into the game. If people could have civil discussions on Twitter, like, hey, maybe we could vote for this one, maybe we could vote for this one. But then again, the votes are being held on Twitter, of all places. So, toxicity is to be expected, and a lot of division is to be expected. However, that takes us to the end of the video. Well, anyways, this video was purely based off of my opinions. I have more commentary type videos like this on my channel. Make sure to go check it out. And one last time, everything's based off my opinions. If you disagree, that is completely alright. If you think the mob vote has been a success, that's fantastic. If you think mob vote should be ended immediately, that is completely up to your opinion as well. I'm trying to really make sure that you guys know that this is my opinions. I'm not stating facts here. I am aware some people think the mob votes are pretty cool, and again, I think mob votes are actually very cool idea, but we shall see how it goes this year, if they even have a mob vote this year. Maybe they'll have one next year, who knows, but I will definitely be there to check it out. I'll see you folks in the next one.